Lesson 7-4, Multiplying Fractions by Whole Numbers. The main focus of this lesson is for you to solve a multiplication number story, for you to write multiplication equations to represent fractions as multiple of unit fractions, for you to understand and use what you know about multiples of unit fractions to multiply any fraction by a whole number, and then to apply this understanding to multiply a fraction by a whole number. Wow, a lot of multiplying here. So it really benefits you to know your multiplication facts. Let's go ahead though and look at our mental math and fluency. We're adding fractions. So 5/10 plus 3/10. Notice our denominator has been written for you, and the variable that they decided to use is x for the answer that's missing. So what is the answer to 5/10 plus 3/10? Good, 8/10. Again, the variable is x. What is x equal to? 10. Because 9 plus 1 is 10, so in place of x, I could put 10. And what is the answer to 2/10 plus 7/10? Great. Again, the variable x could be replaced with the number 9. Read this to yourself as I read it out loud. It says, 1 lap around the indoor track at Mill Run Elementary School is 1/8 a mile. Write a multiplication equation to show the total distance Lucas walked when he completed 3 laps. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at 1/8 times 3, because they said 3 laps. How we do this is we leave the denominator the same, and we multiply the numerator by the whole number. So 1 times 3 is 3. So Lucas walked, how much distance did he walk in 3 laps? He walked 3/8, and right here is our unit, 3/8 of a mile. Between what two whole numbers does your answer lie? Well, it actually is going to lie between the number 0 and 1. Because if this was a number line, 1 would be on the end, 0 here. If this is ace we're talking about, the middle would be 4/8, because that would be my halfway mark. So my 3/8 would be right before that, and that's the two numbers it lies between. So 3/8 is the third multiple of what unit fraction? Good, 1/8. How do you know? Well, 3/8 is the product of 1/8 and the counting number 3. So in other words, how we get 3/8, we have to multiply 1 times 3, 1/8 times 3 to get 3/8. So that makes it the third multiple of that unit fraction. This time my problem for you is that 1 lap around the outdoor track at Lucas's school is 5/8 a mile. How far would Lucas walk if he did 3 laps around the outdoor track? Well, again, we could do it a couple ways. We could go 3 times 5/8 equals 3 times 5 times 1/8. How does that work? Remember what we just said, 5/8 equals 5 times 1/8. Then we could do 3 times 5, which equals 15, and again, times 1/8. All we did is take these two numbers here, and now carry it down to here. Continue bringing down that 1/8, because we haven't done anything with that yet. Now we come up with the answer for what's in parentheses is 15. We still didn't do anything with this 1/8, so we had to bring it down. So next step is we take 15 times 1. We put the answer 15 for the numerator. And again, our denominator, we just bring it down. So in general, 3 times 5/8 equals the 3 times 5, what you saw right here, over 8, or we could say n in place of 3 times a and b, which is 5/8, equals n times a over b. Notice the letters do not change for our denominators. Notice that once we said that 3 times 5 is going to be our number, we left 3 being n, we left 5 being a. We're just carrying those letters forward. So next you're going to do Math Journal page 238. This is an assessment check-in. So I'm going to walk you through part of 1, and then I want you to do 2 on your own, and then Math Journal page 239, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So let's look at this problem. Remember, if you struggle, I want you to rewind this recording and listen to it again. Read this silently to yourself as I read it out loud. It says, use this information in the table to solve the problems on the following screens. The Hillside Elementary School Walking Club meets every Monday after school. The table below shows how far some students walked at their last meeting. So Katie walked 2/3 a mile, and Marpara walked 9/10, and Nikhil walked 1 1/4 miles. Cole walked 2.5 miles. Maria walked 4/3 of a mile, and Jack walked 5/6 of a mile. Based on that information, they want you to answer, Katie walks the same distance at every meeting. Find out how far she will walk after 2 meetings. Well, here's Katie, and it says she walked 2/3 of a mile. So I could draw a picture representing a circle is 1 mile, and another circle would be 2 miles. If each time she walked 2/3 of a mile, I could go, well, this is 1/3, 2/3, that's her first mile. And then again, 1/3, 2/3. So how much did she do total? She did 1 1/3 mile. Because remember, we said this circle equals 1 mile. So write a multiplication equation for that. Well, 2, because that's how many times they said meetings she attended, times 2/3 equals, again, numerators go on top, 2 times 2, and our denominator stays on the bottom. Now we complete that problem. 2 times 2 is 4, and denominator stays the same. So 4/3. 4/3 equals 1 1/3. So my answer in miles is either 1, 4/3, or 1 1/3 miles. Between what 2 whole numbers does my answer lie? Well, 1 1/3 is between the whole number 1 and the whole number 2. Finish Math Journal page 238, then bring it up to me so I can check it. Then next you will do Math Journal page 239. 239 I would like you to take up to the answer key and correct. But again, if you have any wrong, please come back and show it to me. I'm going to continue to read problem 2 so that if someone needs it read to them, they have it here. So you can pause the recording now and stop if you don't need it read to you. Number 2 says, Jack walks the same distance at every meeting. Find out how far he will walk after 4 meetings. So again, draw your picture like I did above, write the multiplication equation, answer it in how many miles, and then write between what 2 whole numbers your number answer lies. Now you pause the recording and finish this page and then bring it up to me. Once I've checked your assessment check-in, you need to do Math Journal page 237. Again, you can pause the recording now, and I'm going to read it to those who need it read to them. For those of you who are continuing to listen, after every instruction of the math box, instead of me saying pause the recording now and do it, you need to just do that all on your own because I'm going to keep reading through to the next math box. Number 1 says, find the measure of angle T. Do not use a protractor. Your equation with the unknown. Again, you know that this is a straight angle. They gave you one measurement. So you need to do that straight angles measurement minus the measurement they give you equals T, because you're trying to figure out what this measurement needs to be. Math box 2. Use a picture or draw a number model to show how to solve this problem. It takes 3/4 cup buttermilk to make 1 batch of pancakes. How much is needed for 3 batches? So again, excuse me, you are multiplying. You need to come up with the answer in cups, and then between what 2 whole numbers is this answer? Blank and blank. Math box 3. Carol ate 5/6 of her granola bar before lunch. Which of the following shows how much she has left for later? Fill in the circle next to the best answer. And the words down here just say all of the above or none of the above. Number 4. This time use a protractor and draw an angle. Label it LMN, and it needs to measure 120 degrees. What kind of angle is LMN? Is it acute or obtuse? And write that on the line. Solve. You're dividing 894 divided by 6, and you're dividing 558 divided by 9. Show your work here, please, so I can see which method you're using. Number 6. Ariel read 1/10 of her book on Monday, 3/10 on Tuesday, 1/10 on Wednesday, 2/10 on Thursday, and 2/10 on Friday. How much has she read? Well, if she read all of these times, I'd be circling them, and you need a total for all you should be adding, and you should know that. Pause the recording now, do Math Journal page 237, and go check it in the answer key. Any that you got incorrect, bring it back to me, and I'll explain what happened, and then turn the recording back on to hear your final step for this lesson. Your final assessment or assignment for this lesson is Math Masters page 269. Again, go get it out of the file folder. It says, solve the problems 5 times 1/5. So you need to write the answer for that and draw a picture. Number 2, 3 times 4 nights. Write the answer for this picture, for this number, for this problem, and then draw another picture. Number 3, 6 times 3/6 equals what? Draw a picture for that problem. Number 4 and 5 says, write a multiplication equation to represent the problem and then solve it. Rashawn needs to make 5 batches of granola bars. One batch, a batch, calls for 1/2 cup of honey. How much honey does he need? This is only for 1, so you'd have to multiply it by 5 to get your answer. 5. Joe swims 6/10 of a mile 5 days per week. How far does he swim every week? Well, you need to multiply again, write your equation, and answer it. How far would he swim if he swam every day of the week, which instead of 5 would make it 7? And finally, the practice, you're doing multiplication. Bring this sheet up to me so I can check it before you move on, and this is the end of lesson 7-4.